2025 webinar. Oh, let me start that again. Thank you everyone for attending our first of our series of webinars this year that will all focus on, kind of market access for different markets around. So this is exclusive for Sohar Port and Free Zone. And we're thrilled you joined us today. So today's webinar is in partnership with the International Trade Center, or ITC. We'll be using that acronym a lot, which is a joint agency of the World Trade Organization and the United Nations for Trade-Related Technical Assistance. So as a trade person, the WTO is near and dear to my heart. Oman's a member country. And we have all kinds of different benefits that we get from that. And Martin is going to cover that. But one of the main ones is that you in Oman have access to these amazing tools that we're going to go over today. I literally am on Trade Map weekly. I don't get the access that you get in Oman, and Martin will explain that. But, they are very valuable tools. So this is kind of a surface level. It's going to explain to you, and then you'll be able to go into details if you have further questions. I do want to note that, as I said, this is the first of our webinar series. Our next webinar will be on April 15th at the same time, 3 p.m. We will have a customs and tariff expert from here in the US who will kind of be covering the 5 key elements that you need to know when importing into the US, along with possible strategies. So mark your calendars for that. Probably mid-March, I'll be sending out the invitations for that. So I'll go ahead and kind of, head over to Martin, but I do want to thank, we don't have the United States Trade Representative on with us today, but he's the one who facilitated this introduction. So a big thank you to Jason Button from USTR, and a thank you to ITC and especially to our trainer, Martin. Just a couple housekeeping things. The copy of the slides will be emailed to everyone, so don't worry about that. And then if you have questions, you can put them in the chat box. And as Martin is talking, he will then kind of answer them as he's going through. Because we have kind of 3 independent programs we're going to look at, he might want to cover it as we're going. Don't wait till the end, okay? So let me just briefly introduce Martin. He's part of the ITC's Trade and Market Intelligence Department. Before that, he worked at I'm not sure how to say this word in Spanish, in Bolivia, I'll let him say it, in the field of export promotion and market intelligence from Bolivia. He's specialized in business information management, and his current role in the ITC is to coordinate interventions for the implementation of data solutions. So Martin, thank you so much for being our trainer today. I will hand it over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone in Oman, and to those that are in the western part of the world, and to those of you who are seeing this video. Thank you very much, Amy, for those welcoming words and for those remarks. Yes, please feel free to make your questions, to post them on the chat box. My colleague, Pichaya, is on the other side, and she will be taking care of it. And at the end of this 1-hour presentation, we will also have a moment to share those, to share the answers to those questions, curiosities, and topics that you would like to address and in which you think we can help you out. So what are we? First topic of the day. What does ITC stand for? By the way, this is a very dynamic presentation. We will be spending most of the time online on the tools, making real exercises with some Omani products. However, I would like to take the opportunity to talk just a little about what the ITC, the International Trade Center, is. Well, as Amy has already mentioned, we are a joint agency of the United Nations and the World Trade Organization, already 60 years old. Well, this year we will become 61, and our main mission is to help small businesses in developing countries go global through trade, through export development and export promotion. And one of those areas for which we are most well known is trade intelligence. Probably some of these tools are already well known by you. For example, Trade Map, our trade statistic report maker, Market Access Map, our repository of data and information on market access, as for example, tariffs, trade agreements. There is also Investment Map to measure and to track foreign direct investment flows and in-stock and inflows from one country to the other, and sustainability map that is similar to the market access map, but this one has mostly to do with private voluntary standards, protocols, and codes of conduct that could help you identify and target specific market niches that value some private standards, as for example, when we mention organic or fair trade on those aspects that have to do with corporate social responsibility. There is also procurement map, which is a dynamic database that acts as a repository of public procurement announcements that are published by governments around the world. There is also Export Potential Map. We will see this one today. Export Potential Map drives an econometric model that can help you identify promising export products for your country or promising markets for those products that you have already in mind. There is also Rules of Origin Facilitator, a tool that can help you better understand trade agreements and tariff preferences and how you could benefit and to which extent you could benefit from them, provided that you are eligible for those trade and tariff preferences. And well, as you can see, there are a number of tools. We are always very proud to show this slide that describes in a way the variety of types of institutions and companies from around the world, from different sectors that are users of these tools. There are over 1.3 million of users, and most of them are companies from the list of Fortune 500. But the good thing is that these tools are free for you and for me. I am Bolivian, and for many other developing countries and economies in transition, these tools are for free. So the system will track your origin, will detect your IP, will find out that you're visiting them from Oman, and full access will be given to all of them, especially to TradeMap, because TradeMap, as we will see later, contains also a database of companies that can help you identify potential business partners classified by sector and by product. That is super valuable information. And yes, you can have access to that. I will show you how we can exploit that. And by the way, we are also the source of a number of publishers and technical magazines. As for example, you see these snippets from The Economist, from Bloomberg, and they also rely on these tools. Well, all this to say that these tools are very powerful, can provide you very useful insight, and I repeat, they are for free for you. And this is what we will be seeing today in the next hour. We will navigate Export Potential Map, this tool that I mentioned that can help us identify potential markets or potential export products from your country. And we will be seeing TradeMap as well, that for sure many of you know it already. TradeMap is our bestseller, already 22 years old. And there is also Market Access Map. As we say in short, MacMap, we will also be navigating to see how we can inquiry what are the tariffs or tariff preferences that the products of our interest have in different parts of the world. So that is what we will be doing today. And of course, at the end of the presentation, I will be guiding you to some other resources that you can use if you want to go deeper in your learning. As for example, our e-learning courses in SME Trade Academy that again, they are for free. And as well through our YouTube tutorials, we have YouTube channel full of tutorials and other presentations of these tools that for sure can help you go deeper if you want to, if you really want to exploit these tools. But this is your main takeaway. Please take a screenshot or take note of this address, marketanalysis.interesting.org. This is the gateway. This is the site where you can create your username and password. I repeat, for free. So take a screenshot. Remember this address, marketanalysis.interesting.org. This is where you create your credentials for having full and free access to these tools. And let's go online now. I repeat, and for those who have just joined, you can pose your questions on the chat box. My colleague Pichaya will be happy to reply to them. And at the end of the presentation, we will also have a moment to share some thoughts, ideas, comments, and further questions. So let's go online as promised with Export Potential Map. So, of course, you will have these slides, as Amy already said, but I would like to say some words before about this tool, Export Potential Map. What is this tool about? So, Export Potential Map, and as you can see already, a short description here, it contains an econometric model. Remember econometrics, for those of you who studied some economic related careers at the university. This has to do with combining mathematics, statistics, and economic theory to propose possible scenarios and to make forecasts of economic behaviors. In this case, behaviors of exports based on the recent trends of trade, looking at 5 years behind and having this prospective view of the future, looking at next 5 years, in order to, as we already said, to identify potential markets for those products that you probably already have in mind. This tool can also help you identify those products that could have better chances to be exported from your country, from Oman, to any other given country. For example, what if you already have a strong interest in the United States, as I think it's the case? So we will do that example. Okay, so same page again. We are in Oman. We would like to know which products can have good market chances at the United States of America, because the system will identify those products that are already in Omani's export basket and that are being intensively imported in the United States, plus some other indicators that you will see. So for that, I would suggest you to click in this link here. You follow me now, you're looking at my screen, right? So you click here in products, and then you will have to choose your target market and your country. So in this case, the exporter will be Oman. We are already using Export Potential Map. So let's pick Oman, and then let's pick United States here from my list. United States. Okay, very good. So this is already a very good insight. If you're looking at my screen, well, you are seeing a prediction of this econometric model that tells you what are the products that could have better chances to access the North American market based on the current and past behavior of trade between both countries. So for example, this is telling me that some products that could have good opportunities to penetrate or to keep on gaining market share in the US are urea, this fertilizer that you know well, polyethylene, non-cellular polyethylene here in yellow, plate and aluminum alloys, all this section here in yellow, then some iron products here in purple, more products of iron here in green. The larger the shape, the larger the opportunities for this Omani product in that specific market, the United States. So how do we interpret this graph, and what can we do with it? For example, let's look at urea. Yeah, just for the example. Later on, we will be making other cases. For example, how do we interpret this? Well, do you see that there is a darker area in urea indicating 42%, and there is a lighter purple section here? This indicates room to grow. This means that at this moment, and based on the export behavior of Oman to the United States, we have been just exploiting 42% of the potential market for that specific product in that specific market, the United States. If we put the numbers, we will see that, and I'm going to click here so that this window freezes. There are actual exports worth $232 million of urea from Oman to the United States. But there is a total export potential for the next 5 years of $552 million, meaning that there is this unrealized potential. This is the room to grow. These are new opportunities for Omani urea, $320 million based on these assumptions of the econometric model behind. Remember that this econometric model is looking at exports from Oman, imports in the United States, behavior of exports, meaning, for example, the growth and the capacity of Oman to provide and to continue exporting urea, and the behavior of imports as well in terms of the growth and the rate of growth of those imports in the United States. This is also looking at the market access conditions. For example, the system for sure is calculating that there is this free trade agreement that you have signed up with the United States in 2009. So the system estimates that further trade is possible. That is how the system resonates and thinks in order to make these propositions. So let's look at another case. I know that there are many people from the aluminum sector in the room, and I will be clarifying any questions that you have. And for those of you who have just come, please feel free to make your questions in the chat box. Let's look at this product, aluminum and rod, which says 3%. What does this 3% mean? This means that from the potential existing market for aluminum in the United States, Oman, it's just exploiting the 3% of its specific export potential. This means that there is still 97% of room to grow, 97% of room to grow exports of aluminum and wrought aluminum from Oman to the United States. Let me freeze this window. I have clicked on it, and well, I see that actual exports, this is the average of last 5 years, is $2 million, but there is export potential worth $84 million. So this is already an indication that probably you could make a bit more of efforts because markets are there, demand is there. This is a product that the US is buying intensively from abroad and that Oman could supply. Because remember, this analysis is specific for bilateral trade. I want to be very insistent on that. So this is how we interpret the shapes in this tree map. What else can we do with this graph? Please follow me to the link that I'm pointing here. upside and to the right, it says analyze export potential. So we can also analyze export potential like this, and with this visualization. Well, now products are clockwise organized from the product that has the most export potential, and we have these 25 suggestions of products, how many products with export potential to the US. And we have this in the form of our ranking, starting with urea, second polyethylene, third nails of iron, fourth methanol, and so on. By the way, every shape means something in this graph. For example, the length of each of these lines has a meaning. What do you think? Look at the screen for a moment. What do you think the length of each of these lines mean? The length of each of these lines indicates the supply capacity of Oman, the exporting capacity of Oman for the United States. Yes, somebody wanted to say something. I'm hearing you. Not yet? Okay, no worries. We'll talk later. So there is also another thing that we should observe, and there are bubbles. You see big bubbles, small bubbles. What does the bubble size stand for? The bubble size indicates the demand of that specific product in this market, the United States. Remember that this analysis is bilateral. By the way, we can rank these countries and, these products as we wish according to different criteria. Right now, I'm ranking this by the demand. We can also rank this by the supply capacity. And I'm learning that Oman is seen as a good supplier, as a potential supplier of gypsum, anhydrite, I don't know that product, methanol, urea, iron ores and concentrates, marble, non-cellular polyethylene. Do you see how this tool can also help you better understand your economic tissue and your national basket of export products? Well, that is what we can do and make our analysis specific to any country. Right now, we're looking at the United States, but you can pick any country of this list. Something else that you can do is to make your analysis sector specific. What if you're not really interested into beauty products or food products? You can take them out from these boxes to my left. Let's take out pharmaceutical components. Let's untick plastic. Let's untick machinery. And we can also take jewelry out. And I see that now we're looking at mostly mineral products. Fertilizers are still there. Let's take them out. And now I can have a more sector-specific view of my export potential from Oman to the United States for the chemical or mineral sector. That is how we can interact with this screen. So that is how we use export potential map, because this puts in a single graph and very visually what your opportunities could be in a specific market. I repeat, based on current trends and in the recent past, looking as well as at the behavior of both countries in terms of international trade. So let me quickly recap what I did. And we were in the homepage. I wanted to identify products that can be sold from Oman to the United States, but we could also say, for example, Canada. And now we will have a specific analysis for the Canadian market, looking at products that Canada is importing from the world and probably from Oman, and that represents a trade opportunity for Oman. Remember, the larger the shape, the larger the export opportunity that Oman has to that specific market of that product. And remember, the darker area, for example, here in urea, indicates the extent to which Oman is making profit, is seizing this market opportunity. The rest, the larger part, the lighter part of this rectangle is room to grow exports. We can also see this in the form of this graph where countries are ordered clockwise according to, well, in this case, supply of Oman of that product or demand of those specific products in Canada. But there are more. We're just looking at the top 25. Now we're looking at the top 40. So that is how we can use this part of export potential map. There is another way in which you can use export potential map is when we don't know where we could export a given product. For example, we don't have any specific focus in the United States nor Canada, but I have a product and I would like to know where the opportunities are for that product. What I can do is to click here in markets, because I would like to identify markets for exporter Oman, and what's my product? What's my product? So let's say my product is iron ores and concentrates, which I know is an export product of Oman. And those are your most potential markets. Ranked from the top, you see China is in pole position, followed by United Arab Emirates, third, Qatar. The larger the line, the larger this horizontal line, the greater the export potential to that market. And these countries are ranked according to the export potential. We could rank these countries as well by current exports. And let me click here below, and countries reorder according to your current exports. This is telling me now that Oman has performing very well in exports of iron ores concentrates to Egypt. Wow, around 457 million. Congratulations. Second market, currently United Arab Emirates. Third market, Saudi Arabia. Fourth market, currently China, but there is much more room to grow in China. Now, somebody will ask, hey, Martin, what does this dotted line means for Egypt or for Saudi Arabia? Do you see that this is a continuous horizontal line for China or for Qatar, and that there are these dotted lines like for Egypt? This indicates something. Please have a look at this bubble. This bubble indicates current exports. In this case, like for Egypt, current exports have surpassed the export potential. This is something interesting because this indicates two things. Well, this indicates that Oman is performing extremely well in the Egyptian market of iron. Congratulations. But at the same time, this is a signal of alert, because what if there is this Omani company that is only and only exporting to Egypt? Well, it would be good to recommend to this company to put the eggs in different baskets, to diversify markets, diversify risks, and probably seize other markets and benefit from other market opportunities as the ones we see in the screen. Remember that these countries in the screen are intensively importing iron ores and concentrates, probably from Oman and for sure from different other countries. For example, there are a number of other countries to which Oman has not been exporting that product, like, well, United States very little, Turkey, Germany, Korea, Vietnam, Belgium, France. Exports are zero, but they are intensive importers. And the system predicts that there would be some room for Omani iron ores and the concentrate. That is another use of export potential map. What did we do for that? We clicked here in markets to identify where my iron from Oman could be sent. Well, in this case, we're looking at another product, but we can do the same for a number of other products at the 6-digit level of the tariff nomenclature. And And there is another type of use that we can give to export potential map. Let's do the opposite. What if I would like to import a product into Oman because I need some type of product, raw material, chemical, equipment, food product that I need in the local Omani market? Well, in this case, I can look for exporters, meaning exporting countries of a given product. In this case, what I can do is, well, look for my product here. Let's say, for example, grapes. We all like grapes. This is my product. And in market, let's say Oman. So in the screen, I will see those countries that are the most promising suppliers of grapes for the Omani market. In this case, well, now you know how to interpret the dotted line. I can see that in Oman, you import a lot of grapes from Lebanon, probably much more than the reasonable, and a lot as well from United Arab Emirates. Probably you like the variety, probably the market has this special affection for grapes from Lebanon or United Arab Emirates, but the system is telling me that also India is a country that could grow its market share of grapes in Oman. You see, actual exports of grapes from India are 4.5 million, but there is room to grow for them in the Omani market worth $10 million over the next 5 years. That can be the reason to be, as they say in French, la raison d'être for any Indian company who would like to do business in the Omani market. We also have Egypt, who could also grow. Of course, China. Well, China can grow whatever they want and in so many sectors. It's not a surprise to see China always on top of these export potential charts. Well, I would like to wrap it up here with export potential map. I presume there are some questions, so I'm going to look at the chat box, and I assume that my colleague Pichaya has been already replying some of them. Could you please write the address for the? Oh, okay, yeah, that was answered. How can we state-wise consumption? Okay. This tool does not look into consumption because consumption could be composed by imports and local production. So we can just look at international trade flows, not consumption. The export value, especially for aluminum, appears to be quite low. Yeah, remember that when we looked at aluminum, it was just, I think, aluminum and road. We know that there are other products of aluminum, so probably the most part of that trade is composed by other aluminum product. That was just one aluminum product. Okay, so show us an area for petroleum exporter. I'm afraid, yeah, we won't have time to make specific examples on the petroleum. Well, number one, because we would like to move on with other tools. And for those products that come from extractive industries, yeah, this system cannot process export potential assessments. At the same time, this tool cannot process export potential assessments of works of art or those items that are used in the production or of illicit drugs or weapons. There are a number of exclusions. You will learn a lot about this tool and its methodology here behind this link. I'm in the homepage. Click here, and there you will see all the formulas. If you want to get really technical, well, there is a lot you can see and learn under this PDF file. It is the paper that gives the logic to the tool. Yes.
Martin, does it cover minerals? You said it doesn't cover extract, so not oil, I
Yeah,
understand. Do you know
yeah,
about
not
minerals?
yeah, not all of them, but some
Some. Okay.
extractive industries are excluded. The list of exclusions is also in this paper.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
so I'm going to wrap it up with Export Potential Map. Let's move on with a very well-known trade map. So what is trade map for those of you who don't know it? It's a report maker. It's a report maker of trade flows, international trade flows between countries classified by product and by sector. For example, let's continue looking at aluminum. And there was this product that I know you export a lot. I saw it, the code was 760110. You just type your HS code at the 6-digit level, or if you don't have your HS code, you can just start typing the product. Like, for example, I'm going to type aluminum and let the system make the suggestions for those products that contain the word aluminum. And here you have them according to the nomenclature. And let me pick this one, 20, excuse me. Oh yeah, aluminum ores and concentrates. And then I can look for example, let's look at Canadian imports. If I would like to get into Canada, if I would like to learn more about the Canadian market of aluminum, well, pick Canada, aluminum, and very important, click on imports, because by clicking imports, you will be looking at imports of Canada. Then click on trade indicators and you will see a symphony of trade indicators that will help you better understand what is happening in the Canadian market of aluminum ores. Always look at the title. So we have landed in this page that says list of supplying markets for the product imported by Canada. Which product? This one, aluminum ores and concentrates, HS code 260600. And this is already interesting. Canada's import represent 1.4% of world imports of this product. Okay, so here you will see this table showing you the ranking of the largest suppliers of that product to the Canadian market. Sorry that I don't see Oman here, but this can help you anyway understand what are the largest players in that market that you could be targeting one day. And this helps you in this way. This can give you, for example, information on the value imported from Brazil, from Guinea, from China. Very important, always remember to add on your mind 3 zeros to these figures. For example, I am learning that in 2023, Canada imported $80 million of aluminum ores and concentrates from Brazil. So this is not 80,000, this is $80 million because I'm adding 3 zeros. Now, here we start talking about quantities, and you don't have to add 3 zeros there. Just take the number, take the figures as you see them. In this case, I am learning that Brazil exported 2,300,000 tons of that product to Canada. So this is how you can even look at what your competitors are doing and how they are behaving, because as you can see in these columns, you can have the growth in imported value between these last 5 years, 2019 to 2023, the growth in quantity and the growth in imported value for a more recent view in 2022 and 2023. This also tells you what is the presence, what is the market share that each of those partners has in world imports of that product. So as you can see, there are also these little eyes at the heading of each column that helps you understand what this column is about. as you can see, there is always this help notes all around in the system. So going back to the homepage, if you would like to do an import analysis or export analysis of any product to any country or of any country, well, I repeat what I did. I clicked here in this box and introduced the name of my product. Let's talk about iron now. So clicking on iron, and the system will suggest some codes with iron. Clicking here, okay, so I picked that product, and I could also say United States of America and click on trade indicators. Then this big chart with so many indicators will be made visible for you to interpret. And probably the time is short to describe each column and how each column can help you establish some insight and some findings. But remember that we have, and I will give you later the indications to get to our YouTube channel where we have tutorials of TradeMap for each of its modules and functions. But a function that I would like to highlight very much is this one. Do you see this tab here called Companies? And by the way, we also have it at the homepage. For example, non-agglomerated iron ores, and let's say again, Canada, which I saw was a potential market for this. We have this button here, this blue button. Well, it turns blue when you pass over it. It says companies. This contains a directory of companies that are either importing or exporting that product in Canada. This is not a comprehensive list of companies. It is not all the companies that are traded. It's some companies that were detected or with company data collected from our data suppliers, Compass or Dun & Bradstreet. So let's see what we can get with that. So clicking there in companies, the system will process, well, we have this list coming from, I presume it's Compass. These are 16 companies that were classified as importers of this product. 3 companies detected as being importers of this product and similar products. So let's click here and see what we can get. We will see how much we can learn about these companies. So we have this, for example, a Cameco Corporation, Shelby, Colimex Enterprises, kind of the Canadian companies trading with non-agglomerated iron and concentrates. I'm going to click here in, let's say, Cameco, and I have this very short company profile that includes a website. I'm going to click on the website. Didn't do this before, but yeah, seems that yeah, it's a working, existing company, and probably you can look at their profile before you pick the phone and offer your iron to that company. That would be best practice that you entrepreneurs for sure follow a lot. So that is the main functionality of TradeMap, to process trade flows reports by product, by country, so that you can go deeper into your analysis of what is happening, what are the trends, what are the competitors, what are the other market players, and what their behaviors are. And as well, to process these company directory reports by clicking here in this button, companies. So this takes us now to the chat box. I would like to see if there are new questions, but for sure my colleague has been replying, but let me have a look at it. If there is something worth addressing a bit more. Can we also get present market price of material? No, no, we cannot look at real-time market prices. This would be the transaction values based on our latest data collection process. Yes, yeah, in April, May, yeah, we will have most of the data. So yeah, that is a good point. Trade map will be able to process reports as of the 31st of December 2024 by around June, for example. However, if you would like to process some monthly reports, as you can see here in this button, yeah, for many countries, we will already be able to see fresh information as, for example, 2 months old. Like in April, you may already be able to process a trade report for January 2025 of a number of countries, especially developed countries are good at creating their reports and reporting to UN Comtrade, which is our main database. And at the same time, they report, some countries report to ITC directly so that we can upload this data and make it visible through TradeMap as soon as possible. So don't hesitate if you're targeting the USA. Well, normally with the USA, we're quite quick, and probably in April, May, we will be already able to look at recent figures of January, February 2025. But if you want to have this world view of trade at a click, and by default, we will still have to wait until the third quarter of this year. But of course, this will give you this powerful overall view of world trade of those products of your interest. So that is TradeMap. The address is trademap.org. And if you didn't take note of the addresses that I'm showing, no worries. These are also in the slides that we will be sharing with you. So let's go to Market Access Map now, our third tool of the day. macmap.org. This is a repository of market access requirements. With the help of MacMap, you can learn what the tariffs that you have to face in a given country would be. And this can also tell you if there would be a tariff preference in the framework of a given trade agreement between Oman and almost any country in the world. Shall we make an example? Okay, so how does this work? I'm in the home page and I'm going to select my exporting country. Exporting country is, of course, Oman. The destination country will be, let's target somewhere different in America. Let's say Brazil. And I know that Brazil buys a lot of urea fertilizer. So I can just type urea, and yeah, the system will suggest the codes that contain that word, and yeah, it's 310210. But if you don't want to type, and if you already have your code, your specific tariff code, so you can just type 310220. Oh, excuse me, 310210. Okay, that is urea for those of you who know the code by heart. So I will click in search. What will happen once I click in search? Well, the system will tell me what needs to be, what we need to comply as Omani exporters in order to get access, in order to be granted this authorization to access the Brazilian market of urea in terms of, number one, tariffs, and number two, non-tariff measures. When we say non-tariff measures, we are talking about regulatory requirements that are established by the importing country in order to protect nature, human beings, public health, and so on. So I'm going to click on search to learn what we need to comply with in order to get market access to Brazil. So, okay, I'm confirming exporting country, Oman for this product, yeah, urea, and I have these three cards. So with these three cards, I'm learning three important things. Number one, there is an import duty of 0%. by default, even without a trade agreement, there is this zero tariff for urea in Brazil, urea coming from Oman. And by the way, this is the most favored nation treatment. So this means that urea coming from everywhere in the world can access the Brazilian market at this tariff rate, meaning free access to the Brazilian market. Trade remedies are sanctions that sometimes countries apply to remedy some situations that caused harm to the market and to the economy. Not the case. And there are 32 regulatory requirements, or as we say in this international trade language, non-tariff measures. So there are 32 measures that need to be followed in order to be granted access to the Brazilian market. So what are those regulatory requirements? Well, these are those 32 measures. It has to do with SPS requirement, remember sanitary and phytosanitary aspects. Again, authorizations, requirement for importers for SPSP reasons. This has to do, for example, with registration of your company in the database of the Ministry of Agriculture in Brazil, as it happens in most markets. Exporters of a given product must register themselves in the database of a Ministry of Agriculture or a sanitary authority. Testing requirements, there are two, and if we expand this area, well, we will see that this has to do with this regulation of the Ministry of Agriculture in Brazil, and this is applicable to all countries. Well, and this is probably a very common task of exporters before targeting a given market to make sure that they can comply with all this. For example, labeling requirements. There are 5 labeling requirements. This does not mean 5 labels, just 5 labeling requirements. Probably one label, a well-designed label for our packaging would comply with those 5 requirements. Same thing with packaging, again, certification requirements. And well, this is what exporters, chemicals, industrials, tactical managers in industrial companies have to look at every day in order to make sure that their product will comply with the required measures, conditions to access a given market. The magic of this tool is that it puts in a single interface all those requirements. Before MacMap, probably traders would have to look for this information that was scattered all around in different websites or different ministries or libraries. Well, nowadays we have tools like this that can give you very quickly access in a single interface of this overall view of what is needed to access a given market. I recap how we use MacMap, or this most used feature of MacMap. Well, you select your exporting country, you select your target market, let's say now United States. Let's pick again, let's keep on making examples with aluminum. And let's let the system suggest. Click on search, and the system tells you if there is a tariff. In this case, yes, for this product, for this, oh yeah, aluminum unroofed. There is a preferential tariff rate for Oman. I presume this is linked to the free trade agreement, the bilateral free trade agreement between USA and Oman, while the rest of countries of the world might have to pay 2.6% in the absence of their own trade agreement. Oh yes, there are trade remedies in this case, and well, there are 6 measures to be respected to access. Only 6. Well, 6 measures to respect when exporting these products to the USA market. Let's have a look at the trade remedies. And yeah, it has to do with other duties. Yeah, there is this additional duty that should be paid. Well, there is the regulation. I think this has to do with a 10%. Yeah, it's a 10% additional duty that should be paid.
It was just increased to 25% yesterday.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for
But that's
that
okay.
fresh
Yeah, I mean,
piece
it
of
just
information.
happened this week. So
Oh, yeah.
just in case anyone's questioning that, it was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
raised to
Yeah,
25.
you know, these days we're in the
I know.
process of having a look at all these new measures that the USA is imposing here and there. So yeah, it's a very manual process, but we will do our best to reflect as soon as possible what is happening in the real trade relations with the USA. So I would like to stop here and see if there would be any questions that were not answered or any other questions that you would like to make now that we still have some time, and that, well, it's already 4 o'clock for you in Oman. We made it on time. So I would like to pass the floor to you, Amy, or somebody else, and I will be also looking at the chat box for any other questions. So the floor is yours.
I just think one thing that might be of interest, the only place that we can see the actual company list is in where you can look at the importers, where you showed us the one for Canada. Are there any other platforms of the 3 where you can see a company list?
Yes, but the companies will be the same. It's just another
Oh, okay.
interface that will guide you to the same address. But the database will be the same, will be trade maps database. I'm talking about this tool that we have, Global Trade Help Desk, that also suggests some companies, but will take you to trade map list of
Okay.
companies. So you better use the trade map
Trade
for
map.
that specific purpose. Yes.
That's a very important tool for those of you who are looking to export. You can see the importers and the target countries. So it gives you a starting point to reach out to. It's one of my favorite things to look at usually when I'm in it. So
Oh, yes, yes. And it's so valuable that, well, it costs some money. If you are in an out of Oman or out of any other developing country, yeah, you have to take your credit card out to get access to that information.
exactly.
So it's like after this session, you're taking like a couple of thousand US dollars on your pocket. Well, I don't remember the price of the subscription. Yeah, but yeah, information is money. So you can consider that this tool is a 900
Okay.
per company. Okay, you have
Is that
900
per,
US dollars on your pocket now.
okay, is that for all the tools or is that per tool?
It's it's for trade map, and all the rest become free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Good to know.
Mr. Martin, what is required for us to register? Only the email, and is there specific information needed to register?
There is a form that you have to fill in. You will be required some data about your activity just for our statistical purposes. It's simple as when you create an email account. It will be just some information about you and your activity. That's it.
Do we have any other questions from anyone on the call? This is your chance. I've already hit him with many questions as we were organizing this. So I think one of the.
I have one
Please.
question. If there
Yes.
is any update in the rules and regulation, it will be updated immediately or it will take some time?
Good question. There would be probably a gap between the moment in which these new regulations are published and the moment in which we publish them. It does not happen real time.
So how much the gap do you think?
I wouldn't know how to say, but we have a team, the Market Access Map team, that is currently these days tracking these new measures. But for sure, we will try to keep this gap as short as possible because people are looking at the tool to learn what are the changes. But if I may suggest, you could also have a look at the website of the US Department of Commerce that are the main and primary source for that. Probably they will publish any change like in real time. Then we will capture that information. We have links with the different ministries and authorities, and we'll try to reflect it as SAP on Market Access Map.
Okay, thank you.
Validity for the license. Someone's asking that for the $900. Is that per year? Or is that a unlimited once you pay? Do we know?
Well, our donors keep on supporting these tools. So for the time being, this is a live license.
Yeah.
We expect our donors to continue collaborating with that. So we will have this lifelong license, hopefully.
So let me just clarify this. So for Oman, Anand, all of these, everything you saw today is open and free for everyone in Oman.
Yes, but a password has to be created.
Yeah.
A username has to be created to have full
Yep.
access.
So you just go in, create a username for your company, and then from there, you'll access all these tools for free. The only
Yes.
people who have to pay are from countries like me sitting in the US. I need to pay to have the full access.
Yes, and by the way, the only one to which you have to log in with your username and password is TradeMap. The others are already open, no registration required.
And other country, just because I know we have a few who have headquarters in different countries. India, is India open as one of the countries that also receives these features for free?
I presume yes. Yeah, we should
Okay,
look at the
I would
list
too.
of developing countries.
Okay.
India free.
India's
Thank
free.
you, Pichania.
Okay. Great. And I did want to just, over the past few years, Martin, you and I discussed this on TradeMap. We discussed the values. In the past, we were concerned about, because it says in hundreds, thousands of dollars, which, and I was, now since you've clarified it for me, so just anyone who's on the call and you looked at TradeMap and you see the table, remember, it's not like $80,000. It would be 80 million or
Yeah.
80 billion, depending on what's there.
Yeah,
So that was one thing that was very confusing.
Exactly. Yeah, we're talking about the very first column that you see in TradeMap. Yeah, this very first column, yeah, you add 3 zeros on your mind. The rest is, well, just the raw values of indicators or rates or unit values.
Okay, and everyone understands that today we were looking, I believe, Martin, please correct me if I'm wrong, we were looking at 6-digit HS codes the whole time.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Had we had more, a longer course, for example, we would have gone into 10-digit analysis because some countries do report to Comtrade at the 10-digit level, and they have a nomenclature that changes or modifies the last 4 digits to make their classification more specific. So yeah, for some countries, you can get to the 10-digit level. For example, to distinguish, this happens a lot with coffee. We have organic coffee or conventional coffee. They make the distinction with the last 4 digits.
Okay, great. Do we have any other questions from the audience?
And while questions come, I would like to show you 2 things, if you're still there. So this is our website for SME Trade Academy. The address is learning.interessen.org. I will put that as well in the PowerPoint presentation. This is a place where you can take these, again, free courses for a number of areas, as you can see here: sustainability, entrepreneurship, e-commerce, and there are two courses on market analysis. One is how to analyze trade flows, and the other one is how to access international markets. So there is this search facility to search for a specific type of courses. They are tutored courses and certificated courses. So once you get to finish and you pass your final exam, you get a digital certificate with a QR code that you can link to your LinkedIn account and so on. So it's something that you can very well use from home. If you have a couple of hours, well, we are looking at, for example, how to analyze trade flows. This is one of our courses, and this lasts 4 hours. So if you have 4 hours at home or in the office that you can dedicate to this course, well, it will be 4 well-invested hours. This, I repeat, free, tutored, certified course. And number 2, I would also like to show you this is our YouTube channel. There you will see a number of tutorials, for example, trade map tutorials and other tutorials and video presentations of other tools and sometimes events. So if you are a user of YouTube, I presume you are, please look for us and follow us at ITC Trade and Market Intelligence. That is our place in YouTube. That was the advertising moment.
Well, great. Well, if we don't have any further questions, then we can wrap up. And Martin, thank you so much. I know Martin stepped in kind of as a last minute fill in for another lady that we had been working with. So Martin, please, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. These products are near and dear to my career and so full of valuable information. And I really want to push and have our companies in Oman using them. So I might, as I start digging in deeper, might be contacting you for additional information. But and for all of you on the call, you all know how to get a hold of me. If you have any questions, please let me know. And as a reminder, our next webinar will be on April 15th. So, and that will definitely be covering the hottest topics going on in the US import-export market. So definitely want to attend that. And so any questions, I would appreciate if anyone has feedback on today, if you could send me an email. I know that ITC would also appreciate any feedback, then I will communicate that with them. All right. And thank you again for attending.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Mr. Martin, for organizing such a good webinar. It was very useful, very straight to the point. We really appreciate the time and the effort. Thank you very much. It was super. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It was our pleasure. Thank you all. And thank you, Amy, for making us part of this series of useful webinars. Peace be with you and see you on the internet. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.